we have to communicate what is going on with our children, because I'm a teacher. You look at the classroom and everyone is swamped with the number of students who have sensory issues, learning disabilities, autism, ADHD, behavioral disorders. It's just, we can't proceed that much longer the way we are. And it's not just my kids, it's everyone's children.
Okay, right. Are you ready, Anu?
Yes.
Right, can you tell us who you are?
Holly Maknowicz, this is Elizabeth, and this is George.
Okay, and this is a story of a child being saved from severe injury. So this is a good story for you. You'll like this, everyone.
Well, actually, while I was at the end of my pregnancy, I started asking questions. I don't even know where the questions came from. I just started thinking, am I sure about everything that I'm putting into her body? We research so many other things, so why not that? But I had literally no idea how big the schedule had become since I was a child. So I called my cousin and I asked her, because I knew she had an autistic son, severely autistic. I hadn't seen him since he was 3 years old. And she just said, get Dr. Sears's book, start researching. I started researching. Well, that was the 7th month. So by the time we were delivering, I knew to decline the Hep B. I knew to be selective with the vaccine schedule. I knew a little bit about adverse reactions, but really I just thought I was safe. I thought we were in the clear. When I look back at her records from 2 months of age till 6 months of age, she only had 8 shots spread over time. Not 8 shots at one time, but spread over time. Sometimes once a month, and I'd come back a month later, sometimes 2 weeks apart. I knew about Bob Sears's information about the adjuvants and things like that cause problems with development. So I had a normal baby. At 6 weeks, because I wanted to go back to work early, I decided to start the shots. And
What do you do for work?
I was a teacher, high school teacher, science teacher.
Wow.
So I understood some of this.
That's my idea of the worst job that you could possibly do.
Bio-
High school teacher.
Biomagnification, I understood that, so at least I was able to read through things pretty quickly. However, what I did not read through was testimonials and other parents' experiences. But I did proceed slowly. Like I said, at 6 weeks, we started having the problems, starting with the breastfeeding, starting with the arching of the back. Lots of just issues that we didn't have before, with reflux and me asking doctors questions like, what is this? And most of the time they were like, we don't know, or me being yelled at by a pediatrician because I wanted to space them out, or I declined certain shots.
What would the pediatrician yell at you?
Because he saw so many babies perish from the disease. And I gave into, if I recall, I think it was just the hip. That's all I did, and that's when I really started becoming smart. I got the lot number, I recorded everything, because just something was just not adding up from 6 weeks of age until 6 months of age. Milestones were on time or even early. Talking was early, but all of a sudden around 6 to 9 months, we had failure to thrive. We had someone who was on the 30th percentile for weight go down to the 3rd percentile for weight, and then off the chart. Eczema, neurological regression, hypotonia, referral for early intervention, just a whole list of just problems and ailments, and then her doubling over in pain in daycare, me teaching all day, but I was not present. I could not really do my job taking care of other
Did they try and
people's
vaccinate
children.
you as a teacher?
Well, I did that in 2005.
Did you have flu vaccine?
No, it was actually the Tdap. The doctor asked me, "Do you want to do this? You're going to protect your students." I think it was 2004,
I
2005.
think you're going to protect your student. I mean,
I-
such a load of BS. Really. I mean, come on.
Did I research anything? No, I
None
thought
of us did.
I thought that she was my protector. Like, I didn't follow everything that a doctor would say, but what she said was pragmatic. It made so much sense. All right, I don't remember the last time I had the DTaP or the DTP. That was probably what it was back in the day. So I said, okay, sure, fine. But then my health started deteriorating. Within an hour of leaving the doctor's office, I ended up calling them back saying, look, I just almost fainted. I have a fever. I want to throw up. I have diarrhea all of a sudden. What is this? And they started yelling at me on the phone. No, it's impossible. Only children get side effects from vaccines. And I thought, oh gosh, this is horrible. They made me feel so horrible, like I was blaming them for something that they weren't responsible for. And you know what I did? I said, okay, you're probably right. However, slowly after that, I was diagnosed with cyclic neutropenia. That's like every 40 days my white blood cells die and I feel exhausted. But we had no cause. Like, the doctor was like, it's a mutation. And I'm like, well, when did it happen? She's like, we don't know. You just have this mutation now. My thyroid was literally shot, hair falling out. They told me that my thyroid was a little sluggish. Do I want to be put on medication for it? I said no, but then I ended up going to another doctor and being asked, did I feel like I wanted to hurt someone or hurt myself? They thought that I was depressed or whatever, and I had no reason to be depressed. And my energy levels were horrible. So I even fast forward it 10 years later, I still didn't know. I was still thinking that vaccines protect you, when in every way possible, it was just a downward spiral, especially with the hypotonia. And so I try to protect my son.
He hasn't had any vaccines.
He hasn't had any vaccines.
Can you see the difference?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's strength and muscle control. However, there was still something lingering. I don't know what was lingering. He did have early intervention from 12 months till about, 22 months, I want to say. So he had some low muscle tone as well. So I thought, with our third child, I just wanted to have the baby at home. No shots, no epidural for me, no nothing. And doctors and people just can't stop commenting on how much neck control my youngest daughter has.
I just
10
held
weeks.
her. I just held her, and that was the first thing I said. I said, this baby has the most incredible strength in her neck.
Yes, and I'm not a scientist, so I didn't isolate my variables. I did no epidural. What else did I change this time? No epidural. I was taking iodine. I was loosely following the iodine protocol because maybe there's something wrong with my thyroid, so I had to make sure that my iron and my iodine was up. However, I did a lot of that stuff with George too, and I'm just wondering, is there something? Well, Dr. Tony Bark did do the genetic testing, and he's heterozygous for all the traits for detoxification and methylation, and we're going to do further testing next month in November for Elizabeth, me, and her father to make sure that we're just not accumulating toxins faster than the average person. And that's the thing I want to talk about to other people is, hold on please, I want this off, is about screening. Dr. Tony Bark, she's very courageous. She gave us our medical exemptions, And then we have some other doctors, Dr. Natalie Drummond, we have Dr. Robert Minkus, who was scared to give us the medical exemption, but he was the first one to give it to her. And that's the biggest thing I want to say, is he stopped and he refused to give her the MMR. He says, I'm not going to give her the MMR. I said, well, then we need a medical exemption. And he was scared to give that to me. But eventually, with everything that was going on about 2 years ago with the CDC, Bill Thompson coming out as the whistleblower, I wasn't sure where legislation was going to go. So I actually got 3 medical exemptions for my daughter. George has 1. I'm going to have to get 1 for myself if they're going to go after teachers. It took me, well, I was sick for maybe 8 to 10 years of my life, not knowing that it was vaccine injury. So I'll have to protect myself as well, if that's where
So
they're
your
going to go.
cousin saved?
My cousin is not saved. My
No,
cousin
saved your daughter from any
My
type of harm.
cousin, yes, her son was severely injured by vaccines. It was the MMR, and it wasn't the next day kind of thing. It was just slowly, and that's how her delay happened. It started at 6 weeks, but then more symptoms really accumulated at about between 6 and 9 months. It was just totally blatantly obvious that there were issues. But she's healed. My cousin, she works with TACA, talking about the cure for autism, and she's the one. And Bo, our cousin, his name is on the bus too. He's the one who saved my daughter. And every time I read stories, and well, I did meet him recently, an actually intensive care unit, that it angers me and it saddens me, because that's what my cousin lives every day. And when she is no longer able to care for her son, who's going to take care of him? And it's just this whole mess that we've created by thinking we're going to build stronger immune systems.
Thank you so much for telling the story.
Think you, Polly. And your story, Sheila's story, all the other stories that were on Vaxxed. I mean, I think I was 8 months pregnant watching, and I thought, oh, this isn't the best movie to watch when you got so many hormones going on, but I had to watch it. And we have to communicate what is going on with our children, because I'm a teacher. You look at the classroom and everyone is swamped with the number of students who have sensory issues, learning disabilities, autism, ADHD, behavioral disorders. It's just, we can't proceed that much longer the way we are. And it's not just my kids, it's everyone's children.